Rory McIlroy first became the top-ranked golfer in the world back in March. He was just 22 years old. After that, he had trouble at the Masters and missed the cut at the U.S. Open. Now McIlroy's back on top after winning this month's PGA Championship by 8 strokes. I sat down with him this week to talk about winning his second Grand Slam title.
What did it mean to you to win the PGA?
It means an awful lot. I always said that the second one would mean just as much as the first. The first is obviously going to be very special. You're only ever going to get to do it once. But to validate the first one with the second one, I felt was very important. Especially, it's not like I've struggled for a long time, but I'd went through a period of a couple of months where I just hadn't played my best golf, and
not even making cuts.
Not even making cuts. Yeah, I missed 4 cuts in 5 tournaments, which for me is, it's not where I want to be. It's not the place that I want to be.
And what was the difference between not making those cuts and walking down the 18th knowing you have the tournament?
Attitude. Mental attitude was the difference between struggling in tournaments and struggling to make the weekend and winning majors by 8 shots. Going out with an attitude of let's go out and enjoy this.
And what did you think you had to prove?
I always feel like a lot of guys have won one major. Not so many have backed it up with another one. I wanted to prove that I had the hunger to do more, and I wanted to go on and win more tournaments and win more majors, and I want to get my 3rd. And hopefully when I get my 3rd, I want to get my 4th. And that's just the way I have to treat it.
When you were coming down the 18th at the PGA, knowing you had it wrapped, ahead by 7 or 8 strokes, what were you thinking? You knew your father was there.
Yeah, I was trying to look for him on the walk. I didn't see him, and it was just before I was about to hit my final putt that I saw him at the back of the green, and I looked over to him, and he gave me this massive smile, and I couldn't stop smiling, and
so
I nearly broke down into tears then. For some reason, I don't know why, but I just had to tell myself to hold it together for one last putt. And I was able to do it.
And then when you grabbed him,
yeah,
or he grabbed you.
Yeah, that's when, I've never ever been that emotional whenever I've won a golf tournament. But for some reason, I cried.
Your dad and your mom, Rosalie, made a lot of difference in you becoming a golfer. They sacrificed and sacrificed and sacrificed.
Yeah, they did. They sacrificed an awful lot.
2 and 3 jobs for each.
2 and 3 jobs for each. Mum worked night shifts in a factory, not far from our home. Dad had 2 or 3 jobs always from when I can remember. When I got home from school, it was my mum that was there, and then I'd have dinner, and then she'd have to go out for work, and my dad would come home, and he'd make the breakfast in the mornings, and then he'd go out to work, and my mum would come home.
And when almost by the time you were 2 years old, your dad had given you a plastic club.
Yeah, golf was in our family. My grandfather, my dad's father, was a good player, and my dad was a scratch golfer. His 2 brothers were great players, so it was in the McIlroy family, and it's something that's always been very close to me.
What happens in this process of a young man, very young, at 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 until he's a teenager? It's where future champions are made. What is it that separates those that have the thing of greatness and those who will be good but not great?
I think the passion for the game is probably the most important thing. Being in love with what you do, and people will tell you that know me. I probably practiced harder when I was 7 years old than I do now. I was at the golf course for 12 hours a day, and
just love the game.
Just love the game.
This win has restored you to as the #1 player in the world. Some say you're the dominant player. Some say that we're beginning the Rory era. What do you say?
It's, I definitely think golf is in a transition period at the minute. From the late 90s to, maybe a couple of years ago, Tiger was the dominant player. But there's been an awful lot of different major winners in golf, and parity among the field, and it's a transitional period. I feel like the gap between the 100th player in the world and the #1 player in the world has got very, very small.
Someone said, observing how you and Tiger, they said that when you are driving the ball, you know, there's a freedom about the way you're hitting it now. Whereas Tiger's hitting it almost as if it's his last ball. He's playing more conservative.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure if I'm in the position to answer that in Tiger's case, but in my case, I mean, I've always played very free. I've always committed 100% to the shot, and I feel like if I do that, even if I don't make a great swing, it'll work out in the end.
Playing with him, is it inspiring, challenging? Because he was such an inspiration to you when you were growing up.
For me, just to play with Tiger is a dream come true. You know, I've actually struck up a really good relationship with him over the past couple of years, and to be able to play alongside your hero and then to compete against him as well is not many people in life get to do that.
Is there anything you need to work on?
Everything.
Everything.
I have to keep working.
Yeah.
I just have to keep working hard, trying to improve. There's no point in being complacent. I want to achieve a lot more in this game, and you know, if I can improve every aspect of my game 1% every year, you know, I'd be very, very happy.
The interesting thing about him, 2 points. One, he's in the same threesome at Bethpage on teeing off on Thursday with Tiger.
Oh, that's good.
So there's a place you'd like to be. Secondly,
Yes.
I'm always amazed at somebody who's that good, that young, how early they started and how much help they got. You know, and the sacrifice of this guy's parents, 2 and 3 jobs.
I love the shot, Charlie, of he and his dad embracing, and someone comes up and the dad's like, no, it's sort of like we're having a moment. We're having a moment here. But what I'm amazed at is someone who's at the top of their game clearly still says, I still have more to do, still have more to learn.
And I continue to practice hard.
He was your type of guy, wasn't he? Didn't you like him? I was very impressed with the poise of him.
Tiger says he's the kind of guy he likes. He's a, quote, an improver. I believe in improvers.
No, it makes me think maybe I could like golf.